Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018, and for the Gaming Decathlon, I'm into my 37th week of the competition, but this is a brand new series. Brand new game, just came out today. So this is episode number 1, and we are doing career mode. And this is going to be a full Road to Glory series, multiple seasons. And we're going to try to fight from the bottom to the top. So with that, it's going to be Williams Racing. They are the lowest rated team this year in the 2018 game. Deputy team principal is Claire Williams of the Williams family, based in Grove of the United Kingdom. Their attitude preference is showmanship. The chassis, the FW41, as in Frank Williams, founder of the team, and engine supplier is Mercedes-Benz. Team expectations is to be consistent. And the profile says, this ambitious team is one of the most prestigious names in the sport, with a rich history of success, and they expect consistent improvement and plenty of points every season. Now, in choosing my teammate, the existing drivers are Lance Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin. I'm going to choose Sirotkin as my teammate. Choosing the structure is going to impact the scoring for the Gaming Decathlon. So let's go ahead and go through it. Full practice. Full qualifying. I'm going to have formation lap off, even though I actually like to play with that one on, but I'll keep race distance at 25% throughout the series. The AI driver level is one of the areas that will impact the scoring. And this is something that's going to develop over time. I'm not perfect at this game. I'm going to start at 70. So it is on hard, but it's far from maxed out. Over time though, it will max out. Now in the race settings, I'm going to leave flashbacks on, and that's going to be tied from a personal level to the AI difficulty setting. So at 70, I can do a maximum of 3 flashbacks in a race. So I'm not that great at this. I'm not perfect yet. I've got to grow into it. That's the whole point of the channel. At 80, I can only do 2. At 90, I can do 1. And when AI difficulty reaches 100, flashbacks are going to go off. They go away entirely. Now the growth of that AI difficulty level is going to be tied to scoring points. Now starting at 70, it can never go down, it can only go up. But anytime I get into the point scoring, it's going to climb. If I finish in 10th, it climbs by 1 point. If I finish in 8th, it's going to climb by 3 points. If I finish first, it's going to climb by 10 points. So reverse of the position within the top 10. Vehicle damage is full. Safety car is on. Race starts are going to be manual, so all of this is set to here. The assists is custom. Braking assist off, but anti-lock brakes on. Traction control is medium. Dynamic racing line is corners only. Gearbox is set to manual. Pit assist and pit release assist are off, while ERS is set to manual. Now also in the scoring, I get points for the assist that I'm using, and it starts at 100. And for each assist that isn't set to essentially being off, it's 5 points lost from that 100. So for a quick example here, I have dynamic racing line set to corners. If it was off, no points lost. Corners only, that's 5 points lost. So 5 there, 5 for traction control, 5 for the anti-lock brakes. I get 5 for flashbacks. So that's 20 points coming away. But the amount of flashbacks also has an impact. So there's 3 available, so that's actually 15 points total. So in all, that puts me at an assist level of 70 right now. Eventually that can grow up to 100. The AI driver level, that's a simple score based on whatever that level is. So right now I'm at a 70. Eventually that can actually grow up all the way to 110, so it can exceed its 100 points. And we head to the first race weekend in Australia. Here's the scoring for the gaming decathlon. The AI difficulty tops out at 110 points on maximum difficulty. I'm at 70 right now. The assists tops out at 100, minus 5 points for each degradation of assist. I'm at 70 right now. The car upgrades starts at nothing. There are 98 potential upgrades. It's actually 92, but if you max out the efficiency and the quality assurance, that adds 6 more points. So 98 there, 4 points for each one earned, so essentially 400, actually 392. And then points. This is driver points, not constructor's points, so just my individual total. I put down 397 because that is the all-time record in one season. Sebastian Vettel, 2013, had 397 points. Nobody surpassed that, so that's where that is. Now, if you add all of that together, my max score is 999. Of course, I could surpass Vettel's total and essentially get over 1,000 points. So, we're taking the Williams team, road to glory, bottom to top, going for 1,000 points.
Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media, so be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tire wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Alright, so here's our first look at the workstation. Very similar to last year's, but there are some subtle differences that are pretty impactful. First off, I have the same setup in 3 practices and then qualifying and race. I have messages here, and this is set up a little bit different. But Claire Williams has welcomed us to the team. There are tutorials. And here is my contract summary from Emma. So this is my starting contract. So minimum qualifying position is 19th. The race position is 19th. I am set up as second driver, and the team goal right now is easy to achieve. Alright, so I obviously enter in as a rookie, and as an unknown, I have a balanced fan portrayal, media portrayal. Now the team prefers showmanship. Personally, I'm way more on the sportsmanship side, and I couldn't care less whether the team sees me as one or the other. My goal is to take Williams to the top. Powertrain is pretty nice. We've got a good engine. It's a Mercedes, but our chassis and our aero package is pitiful. Let's go ahead and take our first look. The tree, it's not all visible like it has been in years past. So the powertrain being as high as it is, I have no intention of addressing the powertrain anytime soon. So the engine's going to stay put. Durability, if this worked like last year's, there's only one that I want to get. General wear increases durability of all power unit components as well as the gearbox by 10%. Everything else starts getting into specifics. So I'm going to go ahead and make our first development general wear. But other than that, I'm not going to touch durability for a long time. We're already the bottom team. We're already expected to finish at the back of the grid. We'll get better in other ways first. Now, what does need work is the aero and the chassis. But I'm not sure I could afford to do both simultaneously. So, I have a feeling what I'm going to go for here is chassis first. I'm going to focus on the chassis for a good long while, and only the chassis for a good long while, besides that one upgrade that I already made. Taking a quick look first though. So chassis, we are definitely last, and by quite a bit. Powertrain, we're up near the top. Whoa, look at that. That's actually realistic. That's your 4 engine manufacturers. We're starting with the best engine. Ferrari's second best engine. You got the Renault engine a fairly distant third, and then the Honda this year actually just slightly behind the Renault. Surprising but true. Here's the aero, and I'm not last, but might as well be. But we're definitely last when it comes to the chassis, and by quite some distance. So all the more reason to make that the ultimate focus for all or most of the first season. Now, here's the thing. If I start developing immediately, chances are a lot of these developments are going to fail. I'm playing the long game here. We're last place already. We're expected to be last place. I don't need to be that competitive. So, I'm going to work on the efficiency, because in the long term, it's going to save us a lot of resource points. It's going to cost less to make improvements. Plus, I'm going to work on that quality control so that those improvements actually stick to the car and that we're not paying for them multiple times. In the long term, you skip past these and you spend more and more as time goes on. But if you buy some upgrades right away so that you could be more competitive and then try to go back, you're not being as efficient. And I'll tell you now, I'm Mr. Efficiency. I really care about efficiency in the real world and in my games. So, we're going to start right off. 1,000 points, instant. We just used what we have. but I hope to gain a lot more in the near future. Alright. So hopefully that chassis will catch up and overtake that powertrain by the end of the year. But we're going to have to spend quite a few points to make that happen in the first place.
Welcome to Melbourne, where the practice session is about to start for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix.
We've had a good night's sleep because we've got a lot of work to do today to prep for the season ahead. We're ready to fire up the car, so why not head out and get a few laps under your belt? DRS zone is coming up. Get ready to open it. Distance is on your MFD.
Alright, so I've completed my practice program, nearly maxed out the points available there, and I now have 435 in development. We're right at the end of the third practice session. This might just inch us towards 500. My estimated qualifying position is 11th after the qualifying pace program.
As all the
It's a
cars
little
are now
bit high.
over the line, your top three again
It's actually the second
are
fastest
Vettel,
of the
Professor,
session.
and Lewis Hamilton. That concludes an interesting practice
A
session.
little too easy
Let's
on
hope
that, but
for
it was a
more excitement
fantastic
as the
lap for me.
weekend
That was the best lap
unfolds.
I've run in Australia. And this car is difficult to drive, but it's got some pace. And if that's any indication, I will probably be pushing past my AI difficulty level after this race if we manage to get into the top 10. Just short of 500, so there will not be any more upgrades this race weekend. And with that, we're going to head to qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly.
Pretty weak through Sector 2 on my first lap here. Sector 3 was okay. Sector 1 was pretty good. It's not going to be a great time, but it might be enough to get me out of Q2. Third fastest so far, but we just started. After an excellent first sector. Sector 2, lost a bit of time there. I think I've made up for it a bit here in Sector 3. We were only 18th after the first lap. It was good enough to go 12th fastest. Helps if I'm also looking at where I'm driving in the aftermath. So at the moment, P12. 13th is enough to get out of Q1 and into Q2. Teammate Sorokin is going to be starting last. We're about a second ahead of him. Been strong in every sector here in Q2.
That's P2. You're currently in second
Second
place.
currently, but only one of the big six has completed a lap at this point. In Q2, I managed to go P6 with the best lap I've ever run at Australia.
We're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Hamilton, Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Another fantastic lap. Good enough for best of the rest at P7.
New drivers, new cars, and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21 race calendar, and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season, it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel.
4 milliseconds between them.
We have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, the Professor, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Grosjean, and Fernando Alonso. Gasly, Perez, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Bottas, Hartley, Ocon, Charles Leclerc, and Marcus Ericsson. Magnussen and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time
3 drivers
to head
taking
down to the
penalties right away in the first race to get additional units.
Okay, we qualified
Including my
higher than we
teammate.
were anticipating. Let's see if we can do just as well in the race.
Alright, now I am locked into the Ultrasofts as I got out of Q2, amazingly. Six laps looks like about all I can push these, yeah. Alright, we'll go for 1 extra lap on the Ultras. I'll take that extra fuel load. I can run good times here, but I'm not used to the ERS yet. First race using that as that was not implemented back in 2017. And with that, first race of the year, of my career, rookie driver. Here we go.
March in.
Formula One season is ready to get started. Australian Grand Prix, 5 lights are out, and we're off. Opening corner, I'm to the inside. I have to get pushed off the track because we are 3 wide. But to the other side, either Sainz or Hülkenberg gets pushed off the track there. Not a great start. We try to go around the outside here. I dropped just 1 position. Coming to the end of lap number 1 in the first race of the season. I am P7. Good start to the race. Meanwhile, Hamilton leads the race. And followed by Vettel. The Haas coming up hard to the inside. He's got me, but I'm able to hold my position and stay just about beside him. He's got the position, but I've got the momentum. I get back to the inside, force my way through. Light contact there. It's with Grosjean. I actually end up getting a warning for that, but I do retain the position. And we come to the end of the lap. Grosjean close behind still. Let me get on board as I go through the first two corners. On the fifth lap, I've got Alonso close me down quick, and meanwhile, I'm actually closing Raikkonen down. Comes Alonso to the inside. He's got to run. He dips back in. He doesn't have enough there. I lose just a little bit of momentum as I overshoot. Alonso gets to the inside, and Alonso bumps us off into the wall. And the first cars start coming in for pits. Before the start of pit stops, I'm running P8. Alonso's looking to make a move on Raikkonen. Raikkonen locks up the left front going into the corner. Alonso completes the pass, and I close right up on the back end of Raikkonen. Midfield's getting very close together here as we approach the pit window. And Raikkonen is into the pits. And I actually have a small brush with the wall. Turning up the modes, trying to get a hot lap here and see if we can't get the overcut. I'm at the front of a long procession with a long line of cars behind. Looks like both Toro Rossos, both Force Indias. Van Dorn is behind me, and one Haas. So a big lineup of cars, and I'll be in this lap. Put the block on Ocon there. He's gonna get past me here though. Or can I hold him off? Got the inside line. I go a little bit wide to make sure, but I hang on to the position. And we're just about to head into the pits. Good entry into the pits. I'll get slowed down in time. It's a quick stop. We get held up as one of the cars is still coming in. But I'm back out in front as we head back onto the track. But meanwhile, Grosjean has come out ahead of us. Raikkonen actually lost a position to Grosjean, and we come out right back just behind him. So our virtual position now is P9. We're sitting about P13 overall. Raikkonen is slowly starting to pull away from us. Meanwhile, Ocon has caught back up and is now within DRS range. As we come down the front stretch, Ocon goes to the inside. He's going to complete the move. We try to get back around to the outside. And Gasly, meanwhile, has done the overcut. And he came back out ahead. And Gasly comes across the track, hits my left front, sends me off my line. Ocon recovers the position. And I'm down 2 more spots. I'm sitting P12, P13 at this point. Right in the middle of heavy traffic with Van Dorn behind me. Partly behind him, and Magnussen at the tail end of this long procession. And the safety car is out. Safety car on the track. And it's actually Perez that I'm behind now. Ocon ahead of him. That's the other position that was lost somewhere along the way. And we are slowed under the safety car with just a few laps to go. Safety car is in this lap, and we're about to go racing. And we're green. We are in 12th place. I cut to the inside. I get a little oversteer coming out of that corner. Van Dorn gets a run. Gets to the inside track. He pushes me off, but I'm able to hold my line and keep traction. Side by side. Got just enough power to inch back ahead of him, but he's got the inside line. Finally, I get the inside, and that's enough to retain the position. Meanwhile, at the front, Raikkonen's held up in the middle of the field. Not a good race for him. Alonso's having a great day in 5th place. The 2 Red Bulls trail Hamilton and Vettel at the front. And Vettel's pulling away late on in this one. Hamilton a couple seconds back with the Red Bulls just behind them for the podium. Here at the end, I have to defend against Magnussen. He's getting close, but I'm using what I've got left to get to the end of this race. Not enough fuel for a rich fuel mix at the end, so I burned it up on the previous couple of laps. I'm going to do just about enough here to stay ahead of him. P12 in my first race. Most of the positions that I lost after starting P6 came from the pits. I lost 3 or 4 positions in the overcut, undercut of a few different drivers. And then I lost on the track positions to Alonso, Perez, but Alonso put me into the wall when he went past. It's the only way he got ahead of me. And Perez got past because Gasly came across the track and put me sideways. I was able to save it, but I lost the position to Perez in the process of recovering. So not too bad. When I really managed to only lose 1 position in wheel-to-wheel racing, and otherwise held on nicely. No points today though. Coming in 12th place. Magnussen tries to look to the inside. It's the final lap of the race. I am going to defend hard. He put its wing into my right rear tire. Almost spins me around. I was a little aggressive on that, but I'm 90% of the way ahead of him. I have every right to defend at that point, and he doesn't back out of it, but luckily I recover and hold the position. And with that, we're going to cross the line, P12, in our first ever Grand Prix. With the final standings, Vettel is today's winner with Hamilton second. I come in P12, and my teammate, Sergei Sorokin, comes in 18th. Nico Hülkenberg crashed out, finished P19, that was the safety car. And Bottas had a mechanical failure pretty early in this one and did not finish. Good start to the rivalry with Sorokin as I'm up 6-3. And that brings my total resource points to 842.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
We've received invitations to new historic events. You'll be able to choose whether or not to participate before the end of this weekend.
Alright. I will be doing some of these events, but they're not something that I will be doing on camera. Unless there's great demand for it. If you say you really want to see these, let me know in the comments. This one I will not be doing on camera, but in the future I might do the occasional one if requested. So Carl says I had a solid result. That's good. And my value is going up quite a bit, so I might be able to renegotiate the contract in the near future. And as for the R&D at 842, we're still a bit short of our next upgrade in the chassis efficiency. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.